Hello grade 9s, I'm on page 27 of your accounting books, and I will look at all the terms regarding creditors. Remember, creditors is another business that we owe money towards, and we buy from creditors or businesses or suppliers, and we buy on credit. That means we don't pay now, we only pay later. Okay, so this creditor will issue an original invoice to us, and that is a proof that we use as a source document to write up our all the transactions in our own books. Okay, so if they sell to us, if we buy on credit, the supplier gives us an original invoice, which we use as a source document. Okay, now there's a couple of journals here when we buy on credit. Okay, the journal is called the Creditors journal. So we buy on credit and we call that journal a Creditors journal. And if we're not happy with some of the goods, etc., we give it back to the creditor, and that creditor gives us an allowance, okay, or a discount in essence. And we put that in a Creditors allowances journal. Okay, so now when this happens, when this note, credit note was made out, we owe that person or business or creditor less. Okay, a creditor's ledger is a separate ledger with separate accounts for every single creditor, because you want to know a specific person that you owe money towards, what is happening in that specific account. That's put in the creditor's ledger, and there is different transactions or different creditors, each who has their own account. Okay, and in each of these accounts of a specific creditor is shown the credit purchases where we buy on credit from that person, also the payments in the CPJ when we pay that creditor, and also when we send back goods in the creditor's allowances journal. Okay, now creditors list will then be the final totals of each of the creditors in the creditors ledger. So each account of every creditor, every person that we owe money towards, will be a creditors list, the final total. So Mr. John Andrews we owe them so much money, and Mr. Edwards or Mr. Johnson or whatever, we owe a certain amount of money. So that's the creditors list. And then the creditors control account is a T account in a general ledger, and that's just a summary of the total that we owe to all creditors. And then lastly, a current liability is liabilities that has to be paid back within 1 year, normally shorter than that.